Hello people, this is Ronnie, or Esti, and this is my first video in which I am actually talking instead of singing, and to be honest it makes me rather nervous because I don't have any problems singing to a camera, but talking is another matter altogether. So, well, this is a question and answer meme video. I posted a journal about it on DeviantArt, encouraging people to ask questions of me and saying that I will answer, well, most of them. And that's what I intend to do. I'm going to go in asking order, so first questions answered would be the ones asked by Lauri-san. And here's to you, Lauri-san, as well. My name's pronunciation is Esti. So, well, here's the computer by my side because I was actually lazy to print the questions out. So I'm going to read them from there and then answer. And the first question was about pairings. Shonen ai pairings, which there are some people who aren't happy that I like shonen ai, but well, actually I don't mind about it. It's a bit hard to say or explain, but okay, I fail at explaining myself. So, my love for shonen ai in general isn't based on whether they are males or females. What matters to me is the feelings and the kind of characters they are. I don't particularly mind about whether they are male or female. And well, that actually means I would probably like Yuri as well as yaoi. But it's just most of the stuff I read, most of the manga I read, the drawers, the authors are not so good in making female characters. I don't even have any female characters in Naruto I particularly like, maybe apart from Kurotsuchi. And well, I used to have a fascination for Conan, but well, she's okay, I guess. So the question itself was which pairing I prefer out of Kakuhida, Madakaku, Madahida or Hashimada. Well, each of them are very unique in their own fashion, so I'm not exactly sure. Nowadays I prefer Hashimada because of the roleplay we are having with Lauri-san, because it's pretty epic. But the other ones have fairly good qualities as well. I have a fascination for pairings which are unique, and you know, everybody just pairs up yaoi pairings in Akatsuki like the one they are paired with anyways, so I guess Kakuhida is the most original one, or I don't know how to say it, but so it's I don't know, I like them, but it doesn't fascinate me as much as, for example, Madahida. Because when I'm reading the threesomes you and Kelly write with Madara, Kakuzu and Hidan, it seems like Kakuzu is in the middle, and it actually hints that without him it wouldn't work. So actually that's why Madahida fascinates me, because I kept thinking about what would happen if Kakuzu wasn't actually there. Would they still function, or would it just fall apart? So in conclusion, if I had to choose, it would be either Madahida or Hashimada. The second question was, when did I first get into writing? I don't actually remember. It was really long ago. I started writing when I was about 9 or 10 years old, but I got into fanfiction writing when I was 14, I think. So that was 6 years ago now. No, I was 13. Then it's 7 years. Yes, because it was in 2004. Yeah, I feel old. I started writing Harry Potter fanfiction, and my first story was really horrible quality, and it was also a Mary Sue. I'm ashamed about it, but it's still up there on that site, and sometimes I just go there to read it again and laugh at myself because it's absolutely pathetic. And his last question was about my favorite author and book, and I have to say this is a rather difficult question as well, because I read a shitload. I'm always reading books or fanfictions, and I like almost all sort of literature. One of my favorites is Dostoevsky, I think, from the classical literature. He's really, really intriguing because of all the psychological stuff. I like stories based on psychology. And of the lighter literature, I like Diane Wynne-Jones. She writes teen books, children's books, something like that. She wrote, I think Laurisan might know her because she actually lived in the United Kingdom, and she only died recently. And she wrote the Castle series, which also turned into one of the most famous Miyazaki animes. So if you might know Studio Ghibli and Hayao Miyazaki and his animes, Howl's Moving Castle is one of the best. And I saw the anime first, and only years later I realized that it was actually originally a book, and it was written by Diane Wynne-Jones, who I already knew because of the Crestomancy series, which I didn't like that much, but my brothers did, so I read it too. And then I figured she wrote the Castle series, and so I thought I would give it a try. And I read the Howl's Moving Castle book first online, but then I actually ordered it from the United Kingdom with the 2 continuation books together. And it was absolutely amazing. I love her style, and the story itself is just great. And I actually liked that there was just more to it than the anime, because the anime a bit simplified the story. But in the book it was much more rich. And, well, yes, it was beautiful. So, the next person whose questions I'm going to answer is Kevin, because he was the second one and he also asked a shitload of questions, and I have to admit that most of them are pretty pointless. But, well, anyways, I will answer most of them, at least the ones that make sense. So, his first question, yes, I failed. His first question was, who's my favorite musical artist or band? And that's an easy question. It's Coldplay. I love their music. Coldplay was the first band I listened to ever, and I just can't stop listening to them. I have all of their albums, and even a shirt, which is weird because I don't like I don't really like band shirts or something like that. I think it doesn't look good on people who aren't hard rockers, or I don't know, and I was never a person like that, so I wouldn't even wear a hoodie like that. But I was at a Coldplay concert when they came to Budapest in 2008, and it was actually also my first live music concert I went to, and it was absolutely magnificent. I was practically crying on the concert, and yes, I just had to buy a shirt. The next question was who's my favorite author, but I think I already answered that. So the one that comes after that is who's my favorite visual artist. And I have to say I don't really know, because I'm not that much into art. I'm more like into music and writing. Those two are my life, as I am striving to be a writer, and I'm already a musician, a singer. So I don't know. I don't really know. Well, I could say I really adore Mihai Munkaecsi, but I doubt any one of you knows him, because he's the most famous Hungarian painter that ever lived, but still he was Hungarian, and I doubt any Americans or other Europeans would know about Hungarian painters. Well, there's a slight chance, but I doubt it. Who's my favorite poet? It's actually another Hungarian one called Attila József. He was a very unstable man, but his poems were beautiful. I would like to translate some of his poems to English, but I will totally fail, I'm sure. His words are unrepeatable. There are poems that were made music to, and I sang one of his poems once, and it was really hard because it was touching me, and it's just beautiful. But I also adore Villon and Charles Baudelaire, and well, the French poets in general. And yeah, that's it, I think. The next couple of questions are actually kind of ridiculous, but I'm going to read them out, and then he asked if I like monkeys. The answer is yes or no. I absolutely don't care about monkeys. He asked if I think monkeys are cute. As I said, I don't care. His next question was actually, would I date a monkey? No, I wouldn't. And as his next question asks, nor would I date a rhino. These questions are pointless. Then he asked, what cool animals in Hungary are there that aren't in Canada? I have absolutely no idea about what kind of animals are there in Canada, so I'm sure I can't really answer this question. We have a few Hungarian birds, but I'm not that much into animals. I don't really know, really. I only have 3 cats, and I'm sure Canada has cats too, so that doesn't quite answer the question, I guess. And I think I answered 2 of his next questions too. What's my favorite animal and if I have any pets? My favorites are cats, and I like eagles as well, but I never had an eagle. Though I had a friend who had a tarantula and a corn snake as well. It was fascinating, but I only had cats ever, and my best friend has 2 really big dogs, but they are actually a bit scary, even though they recognize me now, so I'm not really scared of them anymore, but I used to be really scared. So his next questions are totally pointless, so I'm sorry Kevin, but I'm just going to ignore them. And then he's asking if I enjoy going to the theaters, and the answer is yes. I like it very much. I used to go watch plays with my classmates and with my parents, and sometimes even with my boyfriend. And well, yes, I like going to the theaters. And well, I think he meant the movie theater, but I prefer going to the real theater to watch real life plays. Well, movies are cool as well, but I love theater, the original one. I don't know what the time is, but I have a feeling this is getting ridiculously long, so he's asking whether I have a favorite movie, and yes, I do. It's called A Knight's Tale, and the star of it is Heath Ledger. God rest him. It's a very beautiful tale because, well, it's rather romantic, and yeah, I'm a closet romantic. But well, actually it's a little bit sloppy as well. But I still like it because I think it has a meaning that everyone should heed. It says everyone can change their stars. You don't have to be what you were born as your whole life. It's about a peasant called William Thatcher, and his master dies at the beginning of the story on a jousting match, and he decides to take over and win it for them because he and his 2 friends, who are peasants as well, they need the money. So he takes Sir Ector's place and finishes the jousting, and they win some money, and so they want to go back and go eat, but William just decides that no, with this money they are going to change the stars, and he learns how to joust properly, and they meet Geoffrey Chaucer, who is one of the most hilarious characters in the story, and he writes them a paintings of nobility, and then they can attend jousting matches. And of course there's a love interest and things, and he jousts under a fake name, and of course it turns out, but well, it ends well, showing that if you reach high and if you fight for it, there is a chance that you might just reach it. And I find that a beautiful thought. He asks whether I play video games, and the answer is yes, though not too much, because I prefer writing and chatting with friends, and I like stories. I mean, I like video games which have stories, like Dragon Age. That's the one I played with about all last summer. And I still haven't finished playing it because the computer was really slow, but it's a great game with a I'm sorry, with a great storyline. So his last question is whether I lost the game yet. The answer is yes, I have. the next asker was Stephanie, and she only asked one thing. She asked who was my favorite character when I was a kid and why. And I told her I was going to think about it, but I actually forgot about it, so I have to think about it now. And I still don't really know. And it was probably a Hungarian character. And I think it was Mazsola. Mazsola was a little green pig, and he was living together with a little imp called Manocska. Manocska actually means little imp in Hungarian. And yes, they were really living together, and Manocska was taking care of Mazsola. Mazsola actually means raisin. And yes, he's a little kid, a pig with absolutely no manners, and Manocska tries to teach him those manners. And they live together happily. And it's a really cute story. That was my favorite bedtime story when I was a kid, and actually I have a sound recorded with my grandfather reading Mazsola from a book to my dad. And I just got it from my grandma, because I was listening to that recording sometimes in the evenings when I was sleeping over at my grandma's place when I was a kid. And I loved the way my grandfather tells the story. It's just, I think it could even be sold as an audiobook. It's so good. They would just need to cut out some places, because my grandpa sometimes stops to tell my father to cover himself up again because he threw off his covers. And finally, there are the questions I got from Kelly-chan. They are the questions I like the most, and also I think they are the ones I will answer for the longest time, because they are really good questions. The first one was, what's my pet peeve and why is it so frustrating to me? The one thing I absolutely hate is when people are talking about others behind their backs. I hate it so much because it was happening to me for years, and I'm actually saying, if they don't like me, it's okay. Come to me and say it to my face, and I'll say something, or if I think they're right, I might even consider changing myself. But saying awful things about somebody behind their backs, and in general talking about other people behind their backs, is just awful, because nobody deserves that, I think. So yeah, that's my pet peeve. She's asking, what was it like growing up wherever I grew up? Well, I grew up here in Budapest, which is a huge city. Well, not as big as London, but still very big. And I like it here. It's a huge city, and I don't think I could live anywhere else. I don't think I could live in the countryside. I would be bored out of my mind, I think. It's just, pardon me, Budapest is like the waterhead of Hungary, because all of Hungary has a 10 million population, and nearly 2 million of that population lives in just Budapest. So that's why it's called the waterhead of Hungary. And yes, it's huge, and everything is at one place really, and you have to buy you can buy everything you need at one place without traveling too much. Though it does take quite a bit of time to travel around Budapest, but still, it's just one big city, and within a few hours you can get wherever you want and get whatever you need. and there's the Danube, which is beautiful, and there's the old castle, which is lighting up in the evening, and I think Budapest looks great in the evening, especially from bird's perspective. I'd recommend any of you to visit here. I would show you around. I love this city. So it was really cool growing up here. I actually lived in the same house all my life for 20 years, and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Well, I might change houses soon, of course, when I'm going to move away from my parents, but I want to stay in this city, preferably for the rest of my life. I wouldn't mind traveling around or living somewhere else for a few months or something like that, but Budapest will always be my home. She asks whether it was hard to learn so many different languages and why I did it. Well, I don't even remember why I started learning English, because I was actually 8 years old when I started it. And it was easy. Learning English was easy because I did it slowly for so many years. I attended a summer course once, and I spent a month in the USA in 2006, and I even attended a high school where I had 1 extra year dedicated only to learning English. I had 13 English lessons a week, so that really boosted it up, and now I'm fluent, and I can even think in English, which is really good, and I love speaking it. Actually, that's part of why I decided to do this video, because I love speaking in English. About Japanese, I started learning it because a few of my friends wanted to learn Japanese because we were watching anime. Yeah, that's a stupid reason, I know, but still. And they were my friends whom I met on the page where I first started to publish my fanfiction, the Harry Potter site. And they found this Japanese course, and this course is this course works in a way that the more people attends, the cheaper it gets. So they asked whether I wanted to come, and I said why not, it seems interesting. And I just got into it so much that I absolutely love it now, and Japanese is awesome. And I decided to be a language teacher. I learned Italian at high school for 4 years. I'm actually rather bad at it because my teacher wasn't too good, but I actually didn't really put too much effort into it, I admit. But, well, my teacher really put me off the whole thing, and it took me quite a bit of time to realize that even though the lessons are rubbish, the language itself is beautiful. So, actually, I want to properly learn Italian one day, and I will learn Italian. And the overall question about why I learn languages is because that's the thing I'm best at. I don't know why, I just have an affinity for language learning. I love to speak, I can't shut up my trap, really. I can't ever shut up. And I think this video proves it. I can't shut up. And I'm talking about absolutely nothing, as Laurithan taught me how to. And that's what I want to do for the rest of my life, learning languages. It would make me happy. It actually lets me meet wonderful people from over the internet, like you, Kelly-chan, and Laurithan, and Kevin, and I even met David over the internet. So if I didn't use the internet, I wouldn't have met him. But, well, that's unrelated to language learning, yes. It's just related to the internet. But still, if I didn't speak English, I wouldn't know you or Lauri or anybody else over DeviantArt, because I wouldn't know how to upload stuff, because I wouldn't understand the whole thing. Yeah, English is just like the most general language nowadays, and I don't find language learning hard in general. It's easy for me, like writing is easy for me as well. Yes, and she asks, where do I dream of living someday, whether it be where I am now or some other country entirely? I think I already answered this question by saying I would like to live in Budapest all my life, but I really wouldn't mind living in Japan for a while, but not more than a year, I think. They aren't too accepting of foreigners there anyways, so I doubt it would work out, but it would be really interesting to go there and visit and be there for a while to get to know the culture more, especially since I want to teach the language. And it would also be awesome to teach English to Japanese people, because most of them just sucks at speaking English. And yeah, well, I wouldn't mind living in the UK for a while either, but really my home is just Budapest. I'm stopping now for a little bit.